January-February 2021 edition.
In a sea of weird that is 2021, we wanted to sample only the finest of the odd offerings floating around out there in this first installment of Real Weird News. We will compile the 5 best weird news stories from each month. These 5 stories represent but a fraction of the bizarre and wonderful events taking place at every moment on this strange terrarium we find ourselves inside.
So sit back, relax, strap on your headgear, get ready for a trip through the atmosphere.
Number 1. On January 11th, NASA's Juno spacecraft, which orbits Jupiter, was reported to have received a strange FM radio signal emanating from Jupiter's moon, Ganymede. And before you ask, no, it wasn't Art Bell making his triumphant return to the airwaves. At first, it was postulated that the signal could be extraterrestrial in nature. However, the scientists quickly realized the signal was caused by the moon traversing the polar region of Jupiter at precisely the point where the magnetic field lines intersect. This type of radio emission is known as a decimetric radio emission. We all encounter these signals constantly, but we call them
Wi-Fi.
Alas, the transmission was not alien or Ozymandias signaling for help. But as in all inquiry, there is always more to discover. Number 2. There have been several international breakthroughs in dream research recently. Scientists have been having success communicating with lucid dreamers. A lucid dream is a type of dream where the dreamer becomes aware of what they are dreaming. During a lucid dream, the dreamer may gain some amount of control over the dream characters, narrative, and environment. However, this is not actually necessary for a dream to be described as lucid. Lucid dreaming has been studied and reported for many years. Prominent figures from ancient to modern times have been fascinated by lucid dreams. There are 2 means of initiating a lucid dream. The first, dream-induced lucid dream, or a DILD. Something within the dream triggers the dreamer to understand what they are dreaming. And the second type is a wake-induced lucid dream, or a WILD. The dreamer moves from waking to dreaming with no loss of awareness. This WILD technique stems from Tibetan dream yoga, a Buddhist philosophy used as a path to enlightenment, apparently much easier if you frequently meditate. Probably a cliche at this point, but we really may be getting close to Inception level dream manipulation here. During the experiments conducted, the subjects would be connected to electrodes and monitored during the night. Researchers would either flash a dim light or play a short musical violin phrase before asking the subject questions, rehearsed before going to sleep. These cues are used to trigger the subject into realizing they are in a dream. Also, prior to sleep, the subject learned a series of eye cues because the rest of the body is paralyzed during the REM state. Rapid eye movement sleep, or REM sleep, is a unique phase of sleep in mammals and birds. When REM sleep is detected, researchers send their cues. Either they flash the light or play the violin phrase to try to catch the dreamer's attention. On numerous occasions, the dreamers do respond with the predetermined eye movement signals. It is at this point the researchers try and have the dreaming subject solve a simple math problem with eye signals. The dreamers reported being able to hear the scientist's voice, but the voices were clearly outside of the dream. The dreamer would incorporate what was being said into the dream world. This cutting-edge research has huge implications. Number 3. Did the legendary wizard Merlin really order giants to move Stonehenge from Ireland to its current location in England? It may have not been Merlin, but someone, or some thousands, most definitely moved that monolithic structure. Archaeologists in Ireland have recently discovered the site where they believe Stonehenge originally stood. They have uncovered the holes in the ground where the stones were once placed. The seasonal orientation was a direct match to the alignment of Stonehenge. One hole discovered matches a unique 5-sided bluestone belonging to the famous monument. Bluestone fragments were also found at the site, and they are identical to the stones at Stonehenge. What is generally believed is that a Neolithic culture in Ireland removed the ancient stones by placing them on giant sleds and dragging them to their current site in England. It is proposed that it could be accomplished in 3 months with enough manpower and engineering skills, such as a prepared roadway for the sleds. The legend of Merlin's involvement in the relocation of Stonehenge dates back to 1136 in Geoffrey of Monmouth's book, The History of Kings of Britain. In this tale, it is said that Merlin enlisted the help of giants, and perhaps even the devil himself, to help transport the enormous stones. As part of the legend, the monument's original home was in Ireland. Number 4. Breakthroughs in artificial intelligence could make it possible for humans to communicate with other animals. Several professors in London are currently conducting research which supports this concept. Now that there has been some success with AIs understanding human language, science can now turn its attention towards understanding other animals, languages, and discerning meaning. In the past, when studying the language of whale calls, scientists eventually hit a wall. They could predict what the whale's next response would be, but they didn't have a clue as to what the call actually meant. It was stated by one scientist that some animals, such as pigs, aren't ever having a complex conversation with each other, but by comparison, dolphins and elephants engage in seemingly detailed conversations. The world of Dr. Do-Nothing might not be that far off. One day, in the near future, you may be able to ask Alexa or Siri to interpret exactly which treat your dog wants, or you could find out your dog's opinion on whether or not you're capable of responsibly caring for anyone other than yourself. Number 5. A group of pigs at Penn State University are learning how to play a video game. Funny, I thought swine were already gaming. You encounter them all the time in multiplayer. Motivated by treats, the pigs move a cursor around on the screen, using their snouts to control the joystick. The game is won, and food awarded to the pig when the cursor hits a wall. The game was originally designed for monkeys. When monkeys weren't available, they decided to switch to swine. The scientists have been very impressed with these swine. One stated
that the pigs achieved the level of success they did on a task that was significantly outside of the normal frame of reference, in itself remarkable and indicative of their behavioral and cognitive flexibility.
One of the pigs, named Omelette, even had the impressive score of 76% on the game's highest difficulty.
Well, now, it looks as though pigs may be capable of holding a conversation after all. So put that in your pipe and smoke it, Dr. Doolittle research scientist lady.
That's the pig saying that.